There was a 10 million plus payout to him and his family, the shareholders. I can tell you, because I know, he didn't do a single thing different to anything that I teach you. Not one single thing. So you've got to say, what do I want more? Do I want to achieve the goal? Or am I concerned about what my neighbor will think if I have a brand new car? They are the most successful people in the Dealmakers community because they don't stop. They just keep on going. So acquisition number one is all about checking that your assumptions are correct. We want you to do it in a way that doesn't risk any of your own capital. If you wish to risk your capital, it's entirely up to you. We suggest that you don't. It's validating several things. It's validating that you can do it. And that's that self-belief that when you've done it once, you realize that, goodness me, why was I dilly-dallying over this? I spend a lot of time helping people overcome procrastination. And I found that one of the fastest ways to help people overcome procrastination is to give people a deadline and say, come on, let's get it done by this date. And when people have a focus of a deadline and I don't want to let myself down, let anyone else down, they make sure it happens and they get focused and they do it. So when you're validating the model, you're validating it for yourself, but also you're validating the business case. When you validate the model, what you're checking is your assumption that if I buy this business, it's going to be more profitable when I own it. I'm going to find efficiencies, and I can then use that as a template acquisition for deal number two. Now, let me give you the advantage of buying a business that's making money. And there are people out there on the internet who advocate that you should buy bust businesses, don't spend any money, buy a bust business, and then turn it around and make it a success. Now, I think that appeals to the hero and heroine inside us all, that we can save this business, be smarter than the previous owner, and do something that they couldn't do, and now we're the hero of the piece because we've turned it around. Now, I've done that successfully, and I've done it and I've failed, and I've got experience. If that's your first deal, I'll buy this business that's losing money and then I'll turn it into a success story, the chances of that happening, quite frankly, are rather slim. You are far better off buying a business that makes money before you own it, because then the chances are a lot higher it will make money after you own it. You will also notice that you can't get any finance to buy a distressed business because it's distressed and it can't afford the finance. No one will ever lend you, right, Martin? You can't get finance to buy a business that's losing money. So focus on businesses that make money. Okay, very, very important.
If you want to find out how to buy a business successfully, get your free business buying toolkit. The link is in the video description below.
So validating the model is all about checking the assumption that when you buy this business, you can do what you say you're going to do. I'll give you an example, and this is someone I know, not part of Mastermind, but someone I know, and I just saw this on LinkedIn last night. So this is like one of those, I just saw it and I'm telling you about it. So a fair number of years ago, there was someone on Dragon's Den, and I don't think it went down that well, but he wasn't to be discouraged because he decided to go down a completely different path and buy independent opticians. And this was the proposition to the independent opticians. He said, look, the proposition was this: you don't like marketing, you don't like the back office, you don't like the admin, you don't like the HR, you don't like hiring and firing and employing and all. You don't like. You just want to do your job that you trained for. You want to be an optometrist, and that's what you want to do. And he said, I will do all of those things for 50% of the business, and you for 50% of the business will carry on doing what you do. And together we're going to be stronger because at the moment your business valuation is 0. But if we collaborate and there's other opticians in the group, then we're going to have a future higher value than if you were just doing this by yourself, because right now, quite frankly, you're sitting on a job, you're not sitting on a business. So that makes sense to everyone. So he went out and he did this, and he did it 70 times. He's motivated. 70 times. And then he went and got some minority investment. I had a conversation with him about this, and I'll give you just some general numbers without being too specific. But let's say there was a 10 million plus payout to him and his family, the shareholders, but then there was a similar amount put in as growth capital by this investment company. They then turbocharged the business, and that was 5 years ago, and yesterday it was sold again It was sold again yesterday. And at that point of sale yesterday, there were 500 opticians' practices in the group in 5 years. I can tell you, because I know, he didn't do a single thing different to anything that I teach you. Not one single thing. There was nothing different. Nothing different at all. Now, I always think when you see someone else doing something and you think that should be me, you should be thinking, if they can do it, I can do it. Now, yesterday would have banked, I don't know the number, tens of millions. Tens and tens of millions. He still would have owned about 60%. I wouldn't be surprised if it was over 100 million. Probably the most successful optician of recent times. Yeah, would you guys not agree, right? And probably he got a little bit of hate in the community. Yeah? He probably got a little bit of like, who does he think he is? Getting a bit too big for himself. You know, all those things that people say when someone's successful. Would you argue with the result? No? See, if you start worrying about what other people think, you won't do anything. If you listen to your friends and your family, you tell you can't do it, and why are you sticking your head above the parapet, and all of these things, you'll never do anything. So you've got to say, what do I want more? Do I want to achieve the goal, or am I concerned about what my neighbor will think if I have a brand new car? So validating the model is important, because once you validated the model once, you could do it 500 times. Harry and Tim, you validated the model, you've done it twice, you're ready for number 3 and number 4. You validate the model, you do it again. Rob with marine type businesses validated the model, went from 3 million to 30 million euros of revenue in the 5 years that you've been part of the group. And by the way, can I just say that I have people in my, particularly in the inner circle group, who have invested over £50,000 individually with me. Interestingly, they are the most successful people in the Dealmakers community because they don't stop. They just keep on going.